So today it's going to be quite an unusual yarn no by year project video. It's going to be my checking for the month of April 2024. And most of all, I want your advice. So hello everyone, welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting life, and today it's going to be the monthly checking for my yarn no by year project that I started over 2 years ago, and it's going to be a special video because I have no acquisitions for this month to be talking about. And so I'm going to just be talking about the projects I have with the yarn that I want to be casting on next. And in some way, I have some hesitations. I still have some thinking to do. And most of the time, you are so very helpful to me. So I'm going to be asking for your input. So if that sounds good to you, please stay tuned. So first, what am I wearing? I am wearing my Oldfield sweater by Drops, which is finished. I had this project I still have this project with the ladies from Lenal West. They gave me the yarn. They had this project with other people too, to have their yarn knit by people. So for now, they are working on their fingering line. And so that people knit the samples, they can show it off, and what they can show off what they are looking like on real people's body and with their own yarn. And most of all, they can distribute the pattern to their customers if they are interested. So I held their fingering double, and it's the Palm colorway, which is sometimes gray, sometimes purple, depending on the light. Palm is some kind of very light purple in French. So I'm going to be standing up to show it how I wear it and how it is on my own body, even though I'm not quite comfortable with standing up and showing you my sweaters that way, because as you know, I can't walk, I can't do yoga, I can do Pilates, and I can do anything. And I've put on a bit of weight. Okay, so Oldfield, you see, one modification is that I split the hem. I made the back a little bit longer than the front, just the back ribbing. All the rest was knit the same. And even though there are short rows in the back, you won't be able to see them. I made the back a bit longer, and I split the hem. That was my modification. They are having some beautiful saddle shoulders, and I have to say that I am in love with that type of construction that I think fits me very well. I made it about my body size, my arm size, the sleeve length. I did not quite follow the sleeve instructions because they are having a more rapid decrease than what I have made, and in the end I'm quite pleased with the length, with the fitting, regular ribbing at the top, at the bottom, at the hem of the armholes. I usually like twisted ribs, but as the pattern did not call for twisted ribs, I just kept it the same way. And this stitch motif, this very funny stitch motif that kind of looks like hummingbirds or other seagulls and stuff like that. And they do not look like Oldfield to me, they look like birds to me. In this color that is between gray and light purple. And to bring the purple up, the purple color, I'm wearing it with, I have a couple of purple scarves. This is the one that has the most purple in it. And it's a scarf that I brought back from the the United States. It was a present from one of my dear friends from Japan. She brought me that for one of my birthdays or maybe Christmas. And it's a Hana Emori scarf. I'm not sure. I don't know if Hana Emori still is a designer. My friend was a very wealthy, let's say, medical doctor at my university, and she was for a couple years in the United States. And she had a very high income, let's put it that way, in Japan. And she was really, really wealthy. And I was always admiring what she was wearing. And she was wearing Hana Emori maybe 60 or 70% of the time. And so one day she went back for, I think it was for Christmas in Japan during the vacation, the regular vacation. And she brought one scarf to me. I'm still having it. I'm so sorry I haven't been in touch with her in a very long time. She doesn't have any social media, and I lost track of her. And it's one of the things that makes me sad, but this scarf is making me very, very happy. So I think the pairing of this purple scarf with this grayish purple sweater is just perfect. And once again, please have a look at the saddle shoulder that I think is really fitting. There is not too much fabric. I have a long sleeve sweater t-shirt underneath, so the sleeve doesn't fall by itself, but I think it follows the top part of the body, the shoulders, and the top part of the body perfectly, and not bulk under the armholes. I think I will make more saddle shoulder sweaters in the future, for sure. Take 2, I did not press the record button. So I'm not quite sure what I was talking about. I think I was talking about my project of the no-buy or low-buy and my regulations. I have a set of regulations that I can follow, and this is what I ended up, my non-recorded segment. I ended up with the fact that the bottom line is that I try to set up regulations that work for me and that I can follow and be successful within these regulations. And if my no-buy or low-buy or knit from stash project is of some interest to you, and I will link down below my regulations that I've worded out, that I've written, and it can be also some inspiration for you. Of course, you don't have to follow that, and of course, you have to make regulations that you are able to follow for a year and be successful at the end of the year. What I was also saying, I think, is that I have some expenses that I know that are going to be made in May. For now, I haven't spent anything in April, and the number I think I have in my head is so far from the beginning of the year, so for the 4 months, is an average of €56.25 that I have spent. So I'm well within my goal, and it's going to be perfect. So I foresee that I'm going to be spending some money in May. First, at Lenal West, when I go and visit them, I will have asked them beforehand if they have dyed the batch of the sportswear in that very dark plum aubergine colorway that I wanted. And that I asked them to do so. It's not a real order. When I went to pick up the yarn, and in the meantime, some very dark purple aubergine yarn has come my way. Thank you very much. So that's a sweater quantity. So that's one of the 3 sweaters quantities that I'm going to be spending. And the other thing I want to be spending is, if I am going to be a sock knitter, I need good DPNs. I'm not a magic looper. I know how to do that. I'm not comfortable with magic loop. I've been taught with DPNs, and this is what I'm most comfortable with. And the current socks I'm working on, I've need them with DPNs, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Problem is that it's not a problem. It's a first world problem. Problem is that the set of DPNs I bought long ago when I started to knit again is a really cheapy one. I'm not even sure of the diameter of the needles. The diameters are not really reliable, even within a set. And the smallest diameter is 2.5 millimeter. So this is the one I'm currently using. And I think the fabric would be better. I would like the fabric better with 2.25 millimeter needles. Maybe not 2 millimeter needles, but at least 2.25. So I've been thinking, and I've been looking around, maybe not enough, to buy a nice, either a complete set, but I don't need the higher diameters, but at least maybe 2.25 and maybe 2.5 millimeter needles, DPNs. So I've been looking for the square ones, and I can't really find any. I think it was Knit Pro. I did that a couple days ago and I forgot. And if it's not Knit Pro, I will link the company down below. But it's one of these big companies that make needles. I think it's Knit Pro. I'm not sure. That used to make the square ones. I can't find them, at least in France. I can find them on Amazon, and I can find them on the usual places I can get tools from. And there is a really big rascal online website where professionals and people can buy from. I think they have a store maybe in Paris. I'm not quite sure. I think they have a huge warehouse in Paris. And I could not find them there either, and I could not find them in the regular, the little online web shops that I'm used to shop from. So I don't know, maybe they are not made any longer, or I haven't looked well enough, and after I've recorded the video, I will find them and I will link them down below, if I do. So if I can find the square ones, I guess I will buy either Xiaogu. I know, I've seen they have DPNs, and maybe not the whole set, just the ones I need. Or maybe Knit Pro has some. I think I would prefer metal needles rather than wooden needles. And if I know some people praise wooden or bamboo needles, maybe you can try to convince me down below, because if I'm buying several DPNs, I might as well throw in a set of bamboo or wooden DPNs. So this is also the other one purchase I'm going to be making soon, and that's going to go on the May check-in. So yeah, two main purchases that are going to be happening quite soon. And for now, my expenses are really contained, and I'm very happy with that. And just to add, as I'm used to be saying in each of these videos, but there are new people who are coming all along. When I decided I was going to start this project, it was not a question of money. I never was in a financial difficult situation. I never spent money I did not have. I just spent too much money on yarn that I could not knit maybe during my own lifetime. Okay, so what I want to be talking about is my project, what I want to be knitting with the yarn that has recently been sent to me as present by two of the lovely yous. In no particular order, and just because it's here and the other one is over there. The Possum Yarn, so it's 80% merino, fine merino, New Zealand merino, and 20% possum, by Sally Ridgway, that Rosemary sent me in this absolutely beautiful purple colorway that I really love. You know I love that because I ordered, I did a special order from Lenal West in that a much, I think, deeper colorway, more aubergine, dark aubergine type of colorway. Then this one is a very light, a very nice purple. And you see a nice purple, completely in the same color range. So it's a fingering weight, 400 meters per 100 grams, and I have 3 skeins. So there is enough for a sweater held single. And what Rosemary said is that, so I'm keeping them in the beautiful bag that she also added to the package, and I'm really being spoiled, as I've already said. So the three skeins are here. What she said is that the yarn has a very nice definition for some kind of cable or work, or at least stitch motif pattern. So I've been looking first in my own library, things I already have, or patterns I already have, or patterns that are in the line, in my knitting line or knitting queue, maybe not in my Ravelry queue, but at least in my mind for now that I want to be making. So I looked at the theoretical gauge. I will have to swatch, of course. So it's 2.5 to 2.75, sorry, to 3.25 millimeter needles, and it's a 28 stitch gauge. So I looked around that gauge. I think I checked for 26 to 30 in my library. Patterns I already have, and then I extended also to my bundles of favorites. And there is one pattern, so at least Rosemary and maybe some other of you may chime in, that I think would be beautiful with that is Reduplicate. It's in one of the pom-pom magazine that I bought, and I bought the magazine, the physical booklet for that pattern, and there are other ones that I like. The stitch motif and the overall impression, this is what really caught my eye. Not the yellow colorway, because I don't think yellow suits me very much, even though I love yellow and I do have a couple things in yellow, but I don't think it suits me very much. Purple and blue do suit me much better, if not perfectly. And this t-shirt, and I think I can make it with long sleeves, with a stitch motif, so it's lace and cabled all on the body, all on the sleeves, everywhere. The whole t-shirt, it's a t-shirt in the pom-pom magazine, but I will be making a sweater. The whole piece has a stitch motif all over. What do you think? Do you think that in that purple colorway, wouldn't you think it would be perfect? The yarn is a bit fuzzy. But I think it won't be lowering the definition of the cable, or not lowering. It won't be masking the stitch definition in the cable or in the lace, or it's lace and cable combined in Reduplicate. I like also one thing, because I have a lot of patterns either in my want to make or in my library that have quite a wide neck, and I'm not comfortable with wide necks. I'm always cold. And as I'm always cold, I'll always have t-shirts under and everything. And I don't like to be showing a t-shirt at my shoulders because the neck is too wide, or under everything. And I always have a scarf. So the neckline is quite tight. And please, please try to imagine with long sleeve and in this purple colorway. I'm sure it could be really, really beautiful. And there is a little keyhole at the back, as I'm seeing that I had already been seeing it. And the sample and the pictures are very cropped. I won't crop it as much, but if you look at what people have made with that pattern, you see that people have made it much longer. So I suppose that I will make the body, leave it as I've done for the oat field. Leave it on hold, do the sleeves, and then adjust depending on how much yarn I have. I think I will have plenty to make a sweater because for now, the needles they recommend to is 3mm needles. So you see it's right in the middle of the recommended needles for the yarn, with a stitch gauge of 28, which is exactly what the yarn calls for. And I usually am quite close to the official gauge for the yarn with the needles that are recommended. And the longest or the biggest size, and pom-pom is very size inclusive, so there are 8 sizes. I'm not sure what's the measurement around the bust or the upper part of the bust, but the 8th size is 1,368 meters, and I do have 1,200 meters. So, but I'm not gonna be making the 8th size, even though if I fiddle around one size bigger, one size lower than what I theoretically would be knitting for an L or XL size, I'm not at the 8th size. So I have plenty to make it much longer, and at least to make it with longer sleeves. If I have to choose, I will choose a longer body, because I can always wear with something underneath and longer sleeves and a longer t-shirt, for example. So for now, this is the only pattern that I have in mind for the Possum yarn. But once I had looked into Ravelry and entered all the parameters for the gauge and in my library and everything, as soon as this one popped up, I kind of knew it would be that one. So, one, what do you think? And two, because there are not many samples, nobody has knit, there is one shawl that has been knit in Ravelry with that yarn. I haven't been looking anywhere else. Do you think it's a good idea? And Rosemary, do you think it's a good idea? And would you have any other idea? I'm kind of wanting a pattern with a stitch motif on it. One, because Rosemary said it was giving a very good stitch definition. And two, because I will already be making quite simple sweaters with I'm going to be talking about the Nutiden yarn that the other one of you gave me. So I think I want something with a bit more work on it. And I would not really dare working with lace and cables with Nutiden. So I think I will have, my heart will be full of cables and lace with reduplicates with that yarn. So yeah, first thing, please tell me what you think. Okay, and I need to be going to my physical therapist appointment. Second thing I would like to have your opinion about is for Val, the Nutiden yarn that one of the lovely yous got me, and the Mohair by Lang that will pair with it perfectly. So Val has some of these darker parts with this brighter, what I call a happy blue, a happy Mediterranean blue colorway, and that will be enhanced, I think, by the Mohair. So I've already talked about that. I have two patterns in mind for this yarn, and I will be swatching very quickly with it. the weather has been terrible and we are just above freezing, and people who have fruit trees and people who have vines and stuff like that are very, very worried it will freeze in their area and they will lose their crop. So it's been very, very cold. So I will be swatching. I can still knit on wool. The two sweaters I've already talked about. The two sweaters I have in mind is the Mohair Gallant Sweater by Kadri, or any of the Gallant sweaters. She has several with several gauges that I can play around with, but I think it's going to be closest to the Mohair Gallant Sweater by Kadri, or Space Time that has just been published, because I was almost decided on the Mohair Gallant Sweater, but Space Time by Heidi Kermeyer was released in March. And it's with decay weight 22 stitches for 10 inches or 4 inches or 10 centimeters, 20 stitches for the Mohair Gallant Sweater. So I think I'm going to be around that. I will have to swatch, and if not, I can always adjust and make a bit of a calculation to decide which size I'm making. Both sweaters have the same vibe. A very simple sweater, no work, a yoke sweater with a very simple color. And the Mohair Gallant or the Gallant line do not have any ribbing at the top or at the sleeves. It just ends with stockinette with an I-cord. So if you've already knit the Gallant sweater, please tell me if it's rolling up, because I don't like when it rolls up too much. And I guess maybe you can place a pearl row so that it stops the curling of the fabric. But anyway, the Space Time and the Gallant can be both finished with an I-cord with plain stockinette for the color. Space Time offers one modification with the ribbed collar and cuff and bottom of the sweater. Both of them are really simple in plain stockinette. I can knit on miles and miles of stockinette on this color. It's gonna be making me very happy. And at some point I was thinking, I'm gonna ask for your opinion and make a poll either on Instagram or on the YouTube community type. And I was up to doing that up to yesterday, I think. I've seen someone do that. It's in the French Knit World community. She asked for 2 different colorways for color work, and she had a sample with a red one and a sample with a green or a blue one or something like that. So 75% of the people said either the green or the blue. And she said after everybody came and voted, and you spend some of your time and imagination, and okay. And she said, well, I went with the red because I knew you were going to tell me I should go with the blue. Let's say it was the blue, but I really prefer the red. So why asking? If you ask people for their advice as with a poll, and then you say the majority say that and I'm going to do differently, what's the point? So I'm not going to be making a poll, because in the end I'm going to be, of course, the one deciding. But I'm really unsure between these two patterns. So they're very close. What's the price? I'm not even sure this is going to be a difference. 10 euros and 20 cents in dollars. So that's 10 euros for Space Time by Heidi Kermeyer, and that's 7 euros and 65 cents for Kadri. So there's a 2 euros and some 35 cents difference. That's not a real difference for me. So please tell me if you have experience with either one and what you would recommend. The Kadri sweater is very cropped. I will not crop it that much. I will make it much longer. So if you have any idea and if you have an opinion, let's have a discussion about that, because I'm really unsure. since I've seen Space Time. I kind of lean toward Kadri's Gallant Sweater because this is the first one I've seen and I've had it in my favorites and in my queue, and I want to make list for a long time. So that's a perfect occasion. Space Time is quite nice too. So and you know, it could very well qualify to describe this very beautiful colorway. It's like a space travel and a space time travel. So please tell me what you think, and maybe that will help me decide in the future what I make. In the meantime, I'll be swatching to make sure my gauge can meet either one of these two ones, but I'm almost 100% sure it's going to be one of these two. If you have another idea of a very simple sweater, no ribbing, and some kind of edging that doesn't roll up, please tell me. Please tell me down below. Once again, take two. I did not hit the record button once again. So what I was saying, I'm not sure about how I did say everything, but what I was saying is that I thank you a lot, the one of you who've sent me this beautiful yarn to be knitting with, and that for now bring me onto a positive train of thoughts about daydreaming, about the pattern, looking for pattern, and maybe swatching and everything that can kind of take me away from all the difficult thinking that I'm having right now. I know the surgery is going to be in September, so that's a given now. I still haven't had any real appointment to start all of the examinations and stuff like that. They need a scanner to make the prosthesis, I'm not sure how to say that, fitted to my own configuration. So all of that has still to be done. But I know it's going to be in the fall, in September. So I thank you a lot for helping me actively place joy and happiness into my own project, into my own daydreaming, into my own little stitches, because I know it's not coming all by itself. And in particular in these difficult moments that everyone experience that. So if we can actively place these kind of positive feelings in our little stitches and send them out, it does help us have more joy and happiness inside, even if the environment is not that joyful and that cheerful. So I thank you very much for being here with me. I thank you very much for being this incredible community. And I will see you next time. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq. Top. People from in the agricultural field, people who have trees. Thinking, I'm going to make a poll. I'm going to make a poll. I'm going to ask for your opinion. I'm going to ask for your opinion.